All right, guys, back on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr previewing the Wednesday night showdown top 15 matchup in Columbia, as it is Missouri hosting Alabama, 8 p.m. Central Time. The tip on the SEC network. Be nice to have that as an ESPN slotted game, perhaps. But on the SEC network, top 15 showdown between two really good teams. Of course, Alabama is coming off the home loss to Auburn, 9-point loss there. That was only the second loss for Alabama since November the 30th. The other one, of course, being Ole Miss. But Alabama, wildly enough, is 21-4 this season. Only one true road loss, and that was November 15th at Purdue. Meanwhile, we know Missouri was able to bounce back, have a good week after the back-to-back losses to Tennessee and Texas A&M. They blew out Oklahoma, then won by 13 at Georgia. So the Tigers, as we said, moved to the top 15 in the country, Max. And, man, this is one of those probably highly anticipated matchups this season in SEC play just because of the way these two teams play and game time length. If you're looking for one of the longest games of the SEC season based on the way these two teams shoot free throws, this could be a lot of points on the board here.
Alabama, Blake, is 38th in the nation in bench minutes. Missouri, 25th in the nation in bench minutes. What a matchup we have here of two teams that just have no drop-off, really, both in the front court and the back court, just constant waves. This is like build against build. We need threes. We need free throws. We need depth. We're just going to swarm you, overwhelm you, and we're going to score more points than you. This is as good as a matchup as it gets, Blake.
It will be a lot of fun. Like I said, the way these two teams play, there's a lot of interesting stuff that you look at. Number one for me, and I joke about the game time, but these are two of the top 5 teams in the country in free throw attempts per game. Missouri is third. They are averaging 27.2 per game. Alabama is fifth, averaging 26.8 per game. They attack, and attack some more, do these two teams. We know also that they're capable of making some threes. Missouri has done it at a better percentage this season, 37.1% from three, top 40 nationally there. We've mentioned many times Alabama's percentage, not exactly what we thought it would be, 33.9%, 171st nationally. But that's the name of the game here for these two, is being able to get to the free throw line, being able to knock down shots. And I think, though, Max, for me, there is also something else that stands out when it comes to these two teams. Missouri has a clear advantage in both taking care of the ball and forcing turnovers. Alabama, as we say, defensively does not really force any turnovers. 354th nationally in turnover percentage defense. Missouri is 28th in that category. In terms of offensive, Missouri, 15.3% turnover percentage. That's top 50 nationally. Alabama, 181, 17.3%. To me, the game starts there when it comes to these two being able to run their offense efficiently and perhaps Missouri being able to gain an advantage by forcing turnovers.
That's the name of the game. It's the turnover battle. That is the glaring difference in this matchup. So let's play this because I like to do this when we do our previews. Let's say that happens, right? Missouri wins the turnover battle. They force Alabama to be uncomfortable. Sears, Phylon, Holloway, whoever it may be that's bringing the ball up, that's got the point guard duties for those possessions, got them rattled. You get some points in transition, some easy stuff, and one. Crowd's getting into it, right? If Missouri wins the transition, they win the turnover battle. Where does Alabama make up that ground? Normally it would be with the free throws. That's basically the best thing Missouri does. So where do they make up that ground? Like, I think it's got to be the front court interior rim scoring. Grant Nelson, Cliff, Mo D. How do they do against Josh Gray, Trent Pierce? Those guys hold their own, and Mark Mitchell is as good as it gets. But I think even Missouri fans would tell you Alabama's got the superior 5 spot in this matchup. If Alabama can win that, hit the old glass, extra opportunities, kick out threes, that's that angle I see for Alabama where they could have a clear advantage. Front court, boards, that stuff.
Well, if you take it to the perimeter, to me, is Alabama going to be able to prevent Caleb Grill from having one of those vintage Caleb Grill type games? And if you look at the numbers in SEC play, Alabama defensively in the top 3 both in 2-point percentage and 3-point percentage defense, which I think is important in this game because we know Missouri's been shooting about 38% in SEC play from 3. That's second in the conference. And like we said, we know just kind of the point distribution for these two teams. You're going to get a lot of points from the free throw line and from 3. So I think that's important to know that Alabama has done that defensively to some of these teams. And if you just try to look at some of the splits in terms of, home away, that type stuff, Missouri has been really good in terms of their overall just kind of defensive numbers when it comes to especially, Max, some of these home games. I'm going to give you the 3-point numbers against Missouri in Columbia over the past several games. Oklahoma, 5 of 22 for 23%. Texas A&M, 5 of 19 for 26%. Ole Miss, 6 of 20 for 30%. Arkansas, 5 of 23 for 22%. And then you have to go all the way back to January 11th against Vanderbilt, 8 of 18 for 44%. LSU went 8 of 20 for 40%. So that is an area where Missouri has. Now, you can say, too, look at some of those teams, maybe not the best shooting teams in the world, but here's the thing, right? Percentage-wise, Alabama isn't either. And so I think that's something where if Missouri kind of cuts off that path for Alabama, making them get to the free throw line, and like you said, that's where the interior scoring comes into play. Meanwhile, if you're Alabama, like I talked about, I think preventing the Caleb Grill, legacy game for however many times he's had those this year, where he just goes off early on, and then that kind of puts the other team in a bit of a tough spot. Missouri, we've said, is a team, and look at the Oklahoma game, right? They only had to shoot 12 threes in that game. They were 4 of 12. But if you look at some of the other performances they've had, sure, they've had some struggles too at times in terms of making the 3. But I think overall, you're feeling pretty confident about their ability, I think, to, even against a team like Alabama, who's defended the perimeter pretty well, you do feel like Missouri will be able to get some of their shots here. And so I'm like, let's just start this game now. Like, these two teams, that there are so many matchup things you can kind of sort out. I want to see, like, which one of these things is going to win out in this game, because you are seeing, like we said, some pretty clearly defined, these are the top 3 areas where this game's going to be decided. We just don't know which team's going to win out when it comes to kind of those matchups.
So what could be the deciding factor here? What could be the edge? Would be if Alabama does hit their threes, hits near double-digit threes, and they do go in and they're lighting it up. Well, listen to these splits. Shout out to Jordan Harper Nation, one of our good friends. Alabama's 3-point shooting at home versus the road. Have you seen this, Blake? The splits? It is. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
Alabama, this is in conference play. Home 3-point shooting numbers. They are shooting 31% from 3. On the road, they are shooting 42%.
Yeah.
It is night and day. Alabama loves shooting in someone else's gym so far. So while we say, we've kind of said here in the preview that Alabama has not been shooting as well. They did not shoot well against Auburn last game. For some weird reason, they have just been night and day better on the road at shooting. I don't know why, but they have.
Yeah, I think, one of the reasons, obviously, look at the opponents. I mean, we said Mississippi State just does not guard the 3 this year. Kentucky statistically has done well against the 3, but we know you kind of get some open shots against them based on their overall consistency defensively. If you catch them on the wrong game, you can put up some points against them. But, I mean, it's a great point, though. I mean, it's like you just look at the numbers and you're like, all right, Alabama's going to come in here and probably make 14 threes. So if that's the case, yes, like I think you're feeling pretty good about Alabama's chances to win this game. But again, it's just a fun matchup, Max. Let's make our picks. I mean, we always laugh because like some of these will come into, we're like, hey, you know who you're picking yet? and we're like, sure, of course I know who I'm picking. This one we both said, you're picking? Not a chance. And I have no idea who we're picking in this game. So let's see if we talked our way into a confident pick one way or the other.
I still don't know who I'm picking. Well, I do, but I have no confidence in it. I just think this is a fantastic matchup. I think, well, when you look at, I know, when you filter Bart Torvik for the last 3 weeks, Missouri ranks on the analytics just a little bit higher than Alabama. I feel like we don't put Missouri in our minds in the same level as Alabama. Over the past few weeks, they have been there 100%. So I'm going to go with Missouri here at home. I didn't want to take Alabama on the road coming off of that tough game. Are they going to drop 2 in a row? Seems hard to imagine, right? You look to last year, though, did it a few times. Completely different team than last year. But when you don't have much to pull on, I'm just going to go with the home team here in Mizzou. I think that they win the turnover battle. And if Caleb Grill is able to get going, I think they're able to match Alabama's 3-point output and some Columbia magic. Mizzou.
Boy, you put me in a tough spot here. Alabama is, I think, 1-3 in the Nate Oates era in Columbia, which is kind of a weird stat. But Alabama's won 4 straight meetings between these two teams. You know what happens if I pick Missouri? Missouri fans are going to be all over me about we've somehow put the Southeastern 16 kiss of death on them. So, Max, I will pick Alabama as I always do in these big games. Yep. I say I've got to pick against Missouri, especially when you pick Missouri, because otherwise it almost feels a little bit too. I was going to pick Missouri, but then I thought you were going to pick Alabama, so I was going to feel confident and be okay with kind of splitting it. I don't want to go there, and both of us picking Missouri, because we know what happens when that happens for me in my
Missouri's
client
lost
tennis games.
One home game this year by 3 points.
But you just brought up Alabama's road numbers, so
yeah, that's why it's such a fun matchup.
It's terrific. So, yes, I wanted to pick Missouri. Blame Max for not allowing me to do that, because Missouri fans would never let us.
Real quick before we end, Missouri wins this game. 4 seed?
I think so.
Nice.
Because Alabama's a 1 seed right now. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think Missouri's trending towards that. And then remember, like a big game coming up on Saturday at Arkansas too. So. Yep. All right, there you go. Our very confident picks, as you can tell, about this game. And as always, remember, when I make my picks for Missouri games, you guys know what's up these days. All right, there you go. Our thoughts on this one. We'll be reacting to it most likely, probably live, maybe on Wednesday night. We'll let you know. We may do it Thursday morning. We'll see how it plays. We'll see how long this game lasts. We'll put that caveat on it. So we'll go with that. But appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on your way out. Let us know your thoughts on these games. Again, thanks for your support. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16.